Hey, hope you're having an amazing day. Kitty's Creations here with another message on restitution. So yesterday we had talked about just different things with education and why it's so important and the birth of it in our country and what it meant for us to have a quality education. Now, I don't believe that we're getting a quality education at this time, but I do believe with multimedia and how things are now in our world, you can educate yourself for a quality education. Now, I don't think that with all the taxpayer dollars that are going in to education that is fair. We definitely need a education system that supports a more quality education, but that's a story for another day. We will get to that as well, but what we would like is the $2.9 million for our families. We want free education past high school. We want judicial reform so they can stop locking us up like animals for when we don't deserve it. I'm not advocating for anyone that has done damage in our society to go scot-free. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the sentencing needs to be just. What I'm saying is if they didn't do a good job at, or you didn't have a lawyer, you just had a public defender, that you don't get put in jail for things that you didn't do and didn't commit, for some of these laws that say you need an appeal for you to be out and you already have evidence that you are, like you're innocent, then no, I don't wish for these things to keep going on as they were. We do not need to go on the status quo. We need to make sure that people who are getting a raw deal, whether you're black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever nationality you are, that you actually get a fair shake in our judicial system. And then for healthcare, with the focus on mental health. We need to have health care for our families and our future families, and quality care that will not put us in debt for the rest of our lives. And because of the history of what they fed us and how the mental health has affected us so much in these years to present, yes, we do need free health care. Yes, we do need the health care to be free and it to be of a certain caliber for as far as getting psychologists and therapists to help us out with our day-to-day. We have suffered a lot at the hands of this country, and it still has, and we now need that playing field to be just. And so to get back to it, we are talking about education today. Yesterday we talked about the birth of it and how they were just doing with Bible stuff, with teaching us about Christianity. Now today, common schools movement, that happened in the 1830s to the 1860s. This period marked the push for free, publicly funded education for all children. Advocates like Hearst Mann emphasized the importance of education in a democratic society, leading to the establishment of common schools across the nation. This movement aimed to provide equal education regardless of social economic status. Now, this is the education system we see today. But did you see the time frame of which that was happening? When they started to fight for equal rights as far as public school is concerned, where do you think that came from? It actually came from us having to erect our own schools and teach people under the guise, because they didn't want us to learn how to read and write. So we were teaching a lot of the slave children and people to be able to read and write. It was a very important era for us, because once we learned, some of us learned how to speak English, you were beaten to death if you didn't understand how to go about doing the tasks that they required of you as a slave. And we didn't know any English. So how can I communicate with you and know what you wanted me to do? But they were required for us not to learn because of the fact that they didn't want us to figure out how to escape. All of this is just very barbaric and everything, but we won't focus in on the past. The reason why I'm telling you the history of it is because I want you to know and be informed on how we have shaped these laws in education for us to be able to be where we are now. There wasn't a public education school system for any Americans. If you didn't have the money to send your kids to school, then you didn't get to learn. But Black people, African Americans, started teaching each other in private. And once that started to get a hold, they started to deny us access to it. And then popped in a lot of these elected officials who wanted to see it on a more broader scale, because not only were we getting educated, they wanted white colonialized children who didn't have that benefit because of their economic status to be able to have it. So as you can see, every time we stand up and fight and we do something, everyone benefits from it. And like I said before, we don't begrudge anybody from having the things that we have fought for long and hard. We just want our just due now. Every time we have these economic downturns and everything, we suffered the worst, and we're able to pick ourselves up out of this mess. But we shouldn't have to do that. We should have some type of stability from the very beginning. They have denied us access to loans for houses. They have denied us access to the loans for businesses. We had to build it from the ground up. We had to find people that were like-minded to be able to do these things that are so important to everyone else. And we have made strides in it, but now it's time to even the playing field. Do you know what it's like to have the scales even? When someone's tipping the scales in their direction and purposely putting their hand on the scale for themselves, we need for them to let up off that scale and put a little bit more on our side, because we have earned it. There has not been one facelet of this country that has been built that hasn't been built off the backs of us, and that is fine. Like I said, we will take all the accolades for it. We have no problem with making sure that people know that, like, yeah, I'm going to give myself a pat on my back for overcoming these difficulties and everything, but that doesn't mean that there should always be difficulties for me to overcome. There should be some pathway for us that is drawn for us to be able to succeed, because when we succeed, as we can see, everyone succeeds in this country. So if there's a fear of anyone being left out, it shouldn't be that fear at all, because every single time we have fought for something else, the masses have benefited from it. I've seen so many people exercise their rights to vote that are minorities. And what they consider to be minorities is anyone outside of colonizers and the colonizers' women, which will be white women. And when they were given the right to vote, they were given the right to vote off the backs of us. And a lot of them exercised their rights against democratic values. And I'm not talking about Democrats and Republicans. I'm talking about democracy itself. And I was telling people during this time, during the election, that you're not taking anything away from minorities by voting for against your own interests. You have always been the beneficiary of this democratic system, and when it is taken away, when democracy is taken away, you're going to be the ones that are harmed. to a very large scale, because not only do they want to put Black people and minorities back under their heel, that means that white women get to be put back under their heel. They don't want you to not be able to exercise your right as a woman and be able to choose. They don't want you to be able to have a good quality education. They don't want you to have opportunities in the workplace. They have proven this time and time again. So it doesn't behoove you to stand against yourself. It behooves you to stand with us, with people who have long fought for, well, against the disparities and lack of opportunity, and try to even the playing field for all of us. Seniors are seeing it with Social Security. Do you know that Social Security has been a landmark law for a very, very long time, since the Depression, because they've seen seniors eating out of trash cans? Because if you didn't save and you didn't have enough money to save, then you would not have a future once you got to a certain age, where seniors had to work up until the day that they died, and there was no respect and dignity in retirement. And then we see that we have so many people that are now being able to benefit from that, and now in this present day, it's being threatened. Is there no area in which they will touch to be able to pull us back into the Stone Age? These laws that were made for seniors was made off of discrimination, and was made off of the value of human life, which we had birthed in the civil rights movement, which allowed them to be able to birth Social Security in the first place. Yes, you get to retire with respect and dignity. Our veterans should be respected for fighting so long and hard for our freedoms that we exercise every single day. And for that to be threatened is egregious. And we just need every single person to stand up for this restitution for Black Americans, for African Americans, not for just people who came over. I don't have anything against them either. But what I'm telling you is that we have been here, we have fought for, we have had to live in this land and never be considered a part of this land, and have the same civil liberties as our colonizer neighbors. And we need that. Not because we just want it, because we've earned it, because every step of the way we have improved other people's way of life. And when we improve other people's way of life along with our own, we go for a more perfect union. So when I talk about these things, I'm so passionate about it, because we have contributed so much in and have gotten little in return, and nobody sees these silent battles that a lot of people are fighting. People who are fighting cancer, who just need better health care. People who are fighting against cognitive disabilities because they didn't have a quality education. Not that they're dumb, but because they didn't get a quality education or get an education past a certain point, they had never been able to excel and have lost opportunities. Our judicial system has left so many people behind that it is ridiculous. We see it every day, where people go to jail for 44 years, 60-something years, like these tremendous amount of years, and then find out that they're innocent. We need to have a better way of doing things in our country that are more just, that are even the playing field for everyone. We're starting with our education, and how important that is for those opportunities to keep opening up for us. We will be talking about education tomorrow. So thank you so much for your time, energy, and understanding. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below, and let me know what you think of this video. And thank you so much for your time. You have an amazing day.